Alright, so here we are back at the museum. Let's see if we can... Okay. That person's new.
Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
Who's that guy?
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
D?
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever it was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
Yeah, that was like lost in translation there.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest
I'd be like, quit
pressure
asking
on
questions or I'll
movement
arrest you.
Of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John Dee at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see.
Why are you wasting my time, then?
I owe again to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Wait, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied art and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
What an asshole. No, you should go start right now. Leave here. I'll watch over the tripod.
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar. Though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to party. No. They assume I am.
Whereas you know next to nothing about...
Of course not. Not.
I think we already went through all that. All right.
Thanks for your help. I beg your pardon.
There he is.
Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No. I was told you may be able to
Like a
help.
Parisian hippie.
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much. Only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest
Makes me
to
laugh.
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman.
All right, if you're that excited.
This friend who has the manuscript,
Are we, the anonymous girlfriend?
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah, I know it well.
Yeah.
I'll drop
I was
by.
gonna say.
Just as soon as I can.
Okay.
Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
Well, that's his job.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
I don't know. I know these games work. Might be where we're heading.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place,
I heard them planning the raid.
they're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art
State-of-the-art.
alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassins.
Learned a lot from this guy.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Wow. Con men.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassin still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin. But there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
All right. Most important question.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Not even a fun programmed answer.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Andre.
Not now, Georgie.
Not now, Georgie.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well,
Yeah.
I try to keep an
I
open mind on the matter.
admit I kind of do.
Take a look at this nose, Labinot.
It really doesn't interest me, Georgie.
Okay.
Do you recognize this white powder, Andre?
No,
Does the guy in this photograph look familiar to you?
no.
What do you make of this tool?
Interesting. Where did you get it?
From a dig in Paris.
Vraiment?
A
I
dig.
didn't realize there were any excavations in progress in the city.
It's for digging up manhole covers.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Alamut is the name of the place where the Hashashin were based.
Where is it?
Somewhere in what used to be called Persia.
Huh.
I'm not too hot on modern geography, I'm afraid. The most recent map I have shows America as an English colony.
What do you make of this ID card?
Nothing.
Okay. It's interesting the things where he'll be like, nah, that's a no-go. Tissue, on the other hand.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Let's see if we can piss off the guard again by opening the window. There was something to do with this window. I remember we could kind of move this a little bit. I don't know why. Got the,
Leave it alone. That closet is over 3,000 years old.
Closet? It's a sarcophagus.
Huh. Well, distract him and then mess with it. Usually a good.
Attention!
Don't you?
Better.
I know.
So
We've been
what's
through this.
Since that,
Wait till he's walking down there.
don't open.
Come on. I think when he was down here, we could open this up. There we are. Let's just walk over here, because we know he's going to close it. Let's just be already in position here. Do whatever we're going to do. Ah, the sharpest guard in the shed. There he goes. Yeah. Okay, let's hide in here. Maybe we can steal this over.
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobino.
Aha!
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
I hear that.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
Nice. Oh, we're waiting for the Crooks. France's most famous comedy team.
Quit fooling around, you moron.
That's a bad idea,
Get your
George.
ass over here and bring that flashlight.
That thing's gonna scream. Oh god, what's the play here?
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Really? What the hell? What just happened?
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor George.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
Nico!
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico.
Oh,
I could have
hell,
been shot.
Nico.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
Yeah.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. But how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
I mean, that was pretty impressive, George. I have to say, yeah, there were a lot of people trying to get that tripod just done.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so. Let's take another look.
We might have something new to point out on this now.
Look there.
We know more about that, but I guess
There's a woman, but the reflect.
we're not going to talk about
There's
that.
a guy There's a guy with between a night through my.
Nothing new there.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Alright. Yeah, alright, so we now have access to Montfaucon. What's going on at the museum real quick? Let's see. Obviously that's missing now.
Hi, André.
Hello, Georgie. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
I like that. It's like, maybe let's not show him the stolen tripod that used to be right there.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras,
Who's he?
a Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They are probably long dead.
Spotlight of history.
Thanks for your help, André.
You're welcome.
Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
How about that security system?
Do you recognize this tripod?
It is vaguely familiar.
I should think it is.
Very similar to the one which we used to have here at the museum. In fact,
That's what I thought.
but this is obviously a poor copy.
Right.
Like they even gave me that option.
Do you know anything about the...
No, sir.
The sign on the tripod says...
It does?
Yeah. It does.
Most...
You don't know anything.
No, I don't.
Yep.
It was...
That's why it doesn't hurt to
What?
show.
Do-
Alright, we've already been through this.
Thanks.
Alright, let's check out the new spot on our map. The location. Up here, Montfaucon. It's a clown! Got a bad taste in my mouth regarding clowns. This stage in the game. Let's talk to him.
Hey, you with the
You
balls.
with the balls!
We?
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No! I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu! A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries
Counter-gravity.
past, the courts of the crownheads of Europe and the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are...
And what I
revolting.
need to see...
Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around.
Such an ass.
I don't think so. That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult.
Yeah. Boo. Done embarrassing yourself, George.
Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy.
I do
after
like
all,
that. He's
is
always
it?
got an open mind.
No, I guess not.
He's down for anything.
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Well, that's why we got our fancy dancy little, what? Yeah, our tool. Probably can't do this.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, you! What do you think you are doing? Leave that cover alone. Now,
Sorry, no harm intended.
you stay away from that.
Anyone with like an official sewer opening tool ought to have access to the sewers, right? Why would you second guess me?
Excuse me, officer.
We're wearing the same color coat.
Shouldn't you be off
That was
directing
shocked.
traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon.
Sauvignon.
Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
This guy's plastered.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably it.
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
We're never polite. Why should... Here, check this out.
What do you make of this grease paint stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
He just has no awareness. That's how it seems every time you show someone that tissue, George. My God. He doesn't get it.
Would you like to shake?
I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Sometimes.
Do I look like a clown?
No. Although you juggle like one. Now, If I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing. And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Who ever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point.
So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur.
That's right, you'd be Jerry Lewis if you juggled that poorly in a clown outfit. But yeah, super hypocrite with his reaction to that tissue exchange.
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern look...
What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
The old George chat-up line.
What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
Better idea.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur.
Yeah. Show this guy the clown nose, see what he thinks of it.
Hi again.
Oui?
After my
Does this
tissue.
grease paint mean anything to you?
It looks like one of mine, or at least another jongleur.
Ah!
Or a clown?
Mais naturellement, a
Holy
clown.
hell, we actually got a...
Hardly a breakthrough.
Well, still. That's way better than people saying, ew, get that disgusting tissue away from me.
I'd like to have another try at juggling,
But with the
please.
nose.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps.
No. I just had an insight into presentation.
Awesome.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
This guy's gonna feel so bad
Okay, now for my secret
when I get
weapon.
more laps. Where did it go? We lost it in the animation. That was so half-assed, but
The juggler was speechless with rage.
why?
You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls
And killed himself.
and left in a fury.
Okay, that's better.
Hey! You forgot one of your balls.
Your balls!
But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
Oh wow, he was like enjoying that show? So just say, better yet, I could finally make a buck here. Pays better than lawyering.
I had no desire to talk to the crowd.
They're clearly waiting for you to do something though, Georgie. Where are the nose? Come on. Don't leave your public. At least throw the ball around a little bit. Should be easier with one. This is the most awkward moment I think we've ever had on this channel in a game. These people just staring at George being like, what now? Where'd the clown go? Is this going to tell us?
In French, English, and German, it read, In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine.
Why would they go all the trouble of moving him to that island to burn him? Let's get it done here. Get that. Alright. We going into the sewer? Now that we got no one to tell us no. For my next trick, I will open this sewer and descend into it. I'm a trained professional, don't try to follow me. It's true. This is not our first sewer. Very spacious, the sewer canals down here. They have a sewer boat. That's handy. Let's check out some of the...
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, this is where the gallows used to stand. Maybe.
Oof. Very dark. And nothing on this
The
one.
wall had flaked, and anything once... The wall seemed in very poor condition. The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had... I wondered why.
Knock it down. Smack it with our sewer
It was
tool.
time for some
Really?
brutal destruction.
Oh yeah. I love the...
Hey, that's hollow! I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap. I'd pulled the lever right inside the hole.
No. What's with this boat? Oh, can we connect this? Guess I don't really...
I'd pulled...
It's not a possession, but maybe we can connect it to the... there we are. Sweet. Very satisfying bricks falling sound effect. I like that. I don't know what's back that way, but I guess we'll check out the secret area. Hopefully this time we get to see the secret area. Last time we opened something up, it decided it would be better to not show us, and it cut back over to Nico. Do with this now, anything?
Boy, had I ever made a mess of that door.
Yeah, but look what you opened up. We got on the wall here. Think of how many tissues you could hide.
In the beginning was the end.
Whoa!
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness. In the end will be a beginning.
That's the murderer.
An end to our enemies heralds our new day.
That's the other.
Report.
What?
The military establishments are in flux.
What?
The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is
It's always a
now.
secret society of evil.
Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time
All right, guy.
is now.
These are your friends. Just
Excellent.
let's bring it down a notch. Listen to this guy.
Tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, where is the broken sword?
Screw that. Where did you record that dialogue? Let's talk about
As
that.
discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
Hanging out in Laura Bow
We
too.
are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short.
Broken sword.
We need results. Not petty bickering. Not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course. My apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword.
That guy was definitely in lower boat too.
We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the
Walrus.
hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon.
do their own killing.
Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner
Pizza.
had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet.
Does everyone know how to use Skype?
To emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princess of this world!
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow. They all get in a boat together. That's cute. That was crazy. Oh my goodness. This just got a whole lot thicker. I'm of course referring to the plot. Wow. And one princess. Yeah, I was gonna say. She didn't get a whole lot of lines there. I feel like they're kind of running the show and not giving her her equal due. That looks like a spot for a tripod. There you go.
The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump.
This is going to be some Indiana Jones stuff right here.
The light falling from above
M.
struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays. And each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read
Marib.
M-A-R-I-B. Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
I think that was the Wordle today, actually.
Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars.
Okay, masquerading,
They're after
okay,
something
okay.
called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how
It's a
does
very
the
well
assassin
selling
fit into all this?
computer
See
game
how to
series.
stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria. But they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone,
I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem
Straight out of Indiana Jones. You should have
and
seen me,
lit
Nico.
the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Mari.
You're not
Oh,
thinking of
brothers. I
Ranieri
like
Self,
that.
are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay. What about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Is there something going on between you and
I was
Labano?
wondering if he
What
was gonna.
business is it of yours?
Oh.
We agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but
So get off my case.
But I'm objectively better looking than that guy.
maybe not.
When's that ball gonna come back?
Let's take another look.
Well, alright.
There's a woman but the
Alright, I don't think there's anything else to be gotten. We really have to
There's a-
look at all this again.
Look,
Two men on the
There's
same
the-
horse. Times
that
were
room-
tough.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, George.
Wait, hold on. Syria? No, wait. We could talk one more time about the Rujari.
Hello, George.
I'm gonna beat this into the ground.
Just how long have you known Labano?
Andre? We met at college. He helped me out when I was a fresh air. Showed me around, that sort of
Yeah,
You never
that
told me
sort
that
of
before.
thing.
I thought he was just a working acquaintance.
thing. So he is. I rarely see him these days. You know, he hasn't changed much. A little lesser at the front, perhaps. I'd forgotten how much fun he could be.
Great.
Let's take.
Look at this.
Two men on the
There-
same horse.
But the night through.
Alright, nothing else, I guess.
Do you think I should go to?
Syria is a long way.
Alright, George is going to Syria. George is getting this. He's getting frustrated. Going to Syria, so we got Spain now on the map. And Marib. I feel like there's something in Spain that we need to do first, some item or something. But the fact that he just asked her about Syria, I guess we're going to Syria. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you.